We live on planet Earth, therefore we are bound by time and space. This plane is governed by dualities, good and bad, light and dark, etc. Humanity naturally leans toward the good, toward the light, yet the bad is still part of our experience, whether we want it or not. I believe the inherent human form is the good, the divine, and seeking the divine will always be our primary instinct. If we all came from the divine, we will naturally gravitate back to it. The divine doesn't operate in time and space. It is always present, always here. Some might call it neutral, something like the gray in between opposites. But to me, gray often feels robotic, like a neutrality stripped of feeling. Maybe the divine is neutral, but because we live in contrast, surrounded by darkness, the light feels intensely divine when we encounter it. It seems too good to be true, which is why neutrality can feel dull in comparison. Humans instinctively seek the divine, and when we don't recognize it within ourselves, where the divine always resides, when we fear our inner God, we often turn to addictions. Alcohol, for example, dissolves boundaries, shame, and fear, and for a moment we feel like gods. But the next day, we learn the truth that feeling was borrowed and we pay for it through the hell of a hangover. We can also project our divinity onto other people, which creates attachment and chaos. Sometimes we see in others the qualities we long for, but believe we cannot embody ourselves, so we elevate them to godlike status. The same happens with religion. When followed blindly, we give our power away, forgetting that the divine we worship is already inside us. But there are healthy, natural ways to reconnect with the divine, and creativity is one of the strongest paths. Creation of any kind brings us back to the source. Artists feel this deeply. The reason creativity becomes addictive is the divine feeling that comes with it, what people call being possessed by the Muse. I felt this many times. There are moments when I create that I fall fully into the present, surrounded by bliss. I feel the cosmos, the connection to everything. Problems dissolve. I remember who I am. Creation allows us to step out of the physical plane for a moment and reconnect with the source. This immersion in the present is the flow state. When we're in flow, the psyche opens, intuition sharpens, symbols appear. Sometimes we create something prophetic without realizing it. And this happened to me as well. I painted a woman lying on the grass among butterflies and flowers, resting and enjoying the sun. I also painted a small wound covered by a plaster on her right upper thigh, meant simply to symbolize healing. A month later, I severely pulled a muscle in my right groin and had to walk with a crutch. That summer, I spent most of my time resting on the grass in the sun. I had unknowingly painted both my injury and the cure. Dreams work similarly. They operate outside linear time. People experience soul communication, higher self messages, out-of-body states, encounters with the divine, psychic dreams, and precognition. Joy and passion are also gateways to this timeless field, and creativity is full of both. That's why we're drawn to it strongly. Joy and passion pull us into the present, the divine moment. Yet in this society, they're only allowed in small doses. After spending the day in a passionless job, we get a tiny glimpse of joy at home through a Netflix movie, and then the cycle repeats. No wonder physical reality feels so heavy. We are not encouraged to seek joy or passion. But when we choose joy, passion, and creation deliberately, not as an occasional escape, we step out of the machinery, we begin living from the timeless part of ourselves again. Children do this naturally, following joy effortlessly until society conditions it out of them with rigid schooling, endless homework, and discipline that drains the spirit. Discipline is valuable, but only when it supports what the soul actually wants, not what kills it. Physical reality is governed by time and space, and we have to follow it, but creativity naturally dissolves it and let us speak into the truth. That's why it feels like time stops when you're in your deepest enjoyment, because when you do what matters, time literally doesn't matter either. There's no point. Creation is timeless. So yes, human beings will always seek the divine, because the divine is our true home, and when we follow the paths of joy, passion, and creation, we return to ourselves, we return home. In those moments, we truly transcend time and space.